Greetings, people! I am wearing this hat and this t-shirt. Yes, still with the logo on it because I don't have the heart to take it off. Because I won this last year at last year's Rumble viewing thing in Manchester. And I buzzing because that was a hell of a Rumble. So I'm going to go through the card and go through everything, and I'm going to give you my reactions to it, because why the hell not? So let's start with, okay, so I didn't watch the kickoff. I missed the kickoff because, reasons. But I did hear what was on the kickoff, and I am still fuming at this, right? Please, 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 something I've said for so freaking long. Stop putting your goddamn titles on the kickoff shows. It devalues the title. It means, look, it's not that important, so you can just stick it on a kickoff. I get it's a real way to get people to watch the kickoff shows. I understand that. But it makes it like it's less important, and that's bull. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, stop putting your titles on the kickoff. It's bullshit. So when we won that, it was Asuka and Charlotte lost their titles to Shayna and Nia Jax, which is kind of bullshit, really, because Shayna and Nia are only just kind of climbing up. Now, let me play something up a minute. I haven't watched wrestling since Backlash. Well, a lot of wrestling since Backlash, to be fair. Partly because I think there's a lot of, I don't know, crap going on in wrestling at the minute. And it was stressing me out badly. I figured, well, somebody recommended, Tom Colligue recommended to me to come back in on the Rumble, and I thought, you know what, sod it, yeah, it's always a good time, it's always fun, you don't necessarily have to watch what's happened previously, it can help, but it's not completely necessary. So I jumped in, and yeah, here I am. I was both looking forward to this and absolutely dreading this. It was either going to turn out to be absolutely amazing, let's just not. So they opened with Goldberg versus Drew, which was interesting yet terrifying. I still prefer championship matches to be at the end, because I feel like they're like your big selling point. Now, obviously, Rumbles are the main selling point for a Rumble. Like, obviously, it's the Rumble. But I feel that championship matches should at least be before that rather than the opening to the show, but it wasn't too bad having that as the beginning match. It was quite a hyped up thing. But I was so scared. I was so scared. I was so terrified that Drew was losing that title. I genuinely thought that Drew was losing that title. And I was like, oh my god, no, please, don't have him lose to Goldberg, don't let this be a repeat of last year. Was it last year, year before, when the whole Owens getting squashed for Goldberg to get against Brock, and it was just heartbreaking. But, so that leads into what was originally meant to happen to Goldberg. So Goldberg was meant to go against Reigns, it was meant to be Reigns versus Goldberg, Spear versus Spear. So it looks like that is going to happen in this year, because Goldberg lost. Now, he didn't enter into the Rumble, as I was expecting, but Goldberg lost and Reigns retained. I'm going to cover those matches properly in a minute. So we'll just start from the top. We will start with the Goldberg and Drew match. The Goldberg and Drew match was better than I thought it was going to be. I was genuinely expecting another squash in one way or another. Either Drew was going to squash Goldberg, which would have looked really bad on Goldberg, but Goldberg obviously can't last as long as he used to, hence why all his matches were like 2 to 5 minutes long. Goldberg being squashed would look bad on him, even though he can't last that long, because he still needs to look like he's up there, like he's one of the, especially with the streak and stuff like that, he needs to look like he was on big, Kahuna's one of the, you know, gods, the titans of wrestling, shall we say, even though we pretty much know from what we've seen, it's not really his dealio anymore. But Drew couldn't have got squashed either, because Drew needs to look like he was still uber powerful. and to get completely squashed by Goldberg would have taken away a lot of heat, a lot of momentum. And that would have looked so bad on Drew. Because it was horrible when it happened to Owens. When he just came in, boom, 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 done, dead. And Owens lost a lot of his fucking push from that. A lot of it. And it was heartbreaking to see that happen. That match was absolutely terrifying, but it ended up paying off really, 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 really well. Neither party looked weak, which was massively impressive. Goldberg looked powerful. Technically, like, the spears were freaking awful. He looked like he was cuddling him to the ground, and it was just like, no, you can't do that. Where's the power in those spears? It was just awful. But Drew did his best to make him look really strong, and that was, you know, welcome. I mean, like, I don't fully understand the whole you don't have respect thing, even though Drew put his hand out to shake his hand in the first place, and he went, no, because surely that means the person who didn't have the respect in the first place was Goldberg, wasn't it? For not being respectful to go, hey, younger, no, you have to earn my respect, even basic respect of shaking the hand. It's just like, I get it, but it's just a bit weird. But yeah, so Drew won, which was a massive relief. massive relief. Which needed to happen. Badly needed to happen. The fear was, though, with Goldberg losing, was that he was going to win the Rumble. And thankfully they didn't do it. And it was fantastic. I was so happy that he did not win the freaking Rumble. It wasn't even in the Rumble, which was just, yes, because that was the terrifying thing, you know, to be able to do spear versus spear. It was like, okay, so Goldberg's going to lose this match, win the Rumble, and then go against Reigns. Like, no, please don't do that. But it didn't happen, so all is well. Good match in the end. Well, good enough match that it needed to be for both parties. Both parties came out looking strong enough, and yeah, it was an alright match. Sasha versus Carmelo. Carmelo has improved shitloads. She has got really, really good. She's got more feisty. She's got more, like, just ferocity to her, and Scream's still irritating as fuck, but, like, she's good. Like, you want to see that match. It doesn't feel like diva, girly kind of match, which is what I was absolutely terrified was going to happen as well. I just thought, classic old women's match style, which was my kind of issue with the women's Rumble, but I'll come to that in a moment. Because I used to fast forward through the women's matches because they were botchy and they were boring, and like I'd stick around for Trish and Lita and Chyna and all those kind of like boom in your face, let's do an actual fight kind of women's matches. But when it came to the like main women's match, it was like, this is crap. Now they're worth watching because they actually let the women fight, which is great. I don't agree with having two separate divisions. I do still think that we should have, like, all titles should be available for all men and women. Because, like, what if a non-binary person comes in or a transgender person comes in? Let them go for whatever title the hell they want. If it says women's or men's, it's inequality, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Yeah, Sasha and Reginald had a bit of an interesting, like, that's what I'm looking for. Chemistry, in a way. They had a little back and forth. They had a good back and forth. And that was quite fun. Reginald getting taken out of the match in the way he did was really freaking weird because he helped save Sasha. He caught her, and she did a Hurricane Rana on him, and then he got thrown out of the arena. And it was like, why? He didn't do anything wrong at that point. I understand that he's interfered and blah 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 and stuff like that, but from what I've seen of like the BTs and stuff like that, I really want to see a Reginald versus Sasha match. That sounds like it'd be actually cool as fuck. But yeah, Carmelo's got really good, and I wasn't expecting Sasha to retain. I thought that Carmelo was going to become a second-time women's champion. So Sasha retaining is both good and bad. I think Sasha needs to kick up the arse with like what she does and stuff like that. And I think her finally getting the title from Bayley and stuff like that was absolutely necessary. Carmelo needs a bit more of a push than what she's getting, but at least her in-ring work has come on leaps and bounds. Right, yeah, I'm going to mention that. Why the hell was there like actual adverts during a pay-per-view? It wasn't even mentioned that they were a sponsor or anything like that. They were just kind of there. It's just like, what the hell? Like, I've seen adverts for stuff during actual live shows at Raw and SmackDown. Like, because I went to see Raw, and I've been to see SmackDown at Manchester Arena, and we had adverts during the show, during like what would normally be the adverts for like American stuff like that. We got adverts too. We got adverts for like, here's an upcoming pay-per-view, and here's like wrestling merch, and blah blah blah, and WWEshop.com, yada yada. And instead, we got like a Chevrolet advert, and it's just like, what the hell is this? Why is there adverts during my show? Get off my screen! I'm watching the network to not have adverts. But it is what it is. Oh, that was beautiful. Right. As we all know, Brody passed away in December. Very heartbreaking thing to happen, especially if you've read the final moments that Amanda Huber posted, and it was a great loss to the wrestling world, and he was John Huber, aka Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper, was very close with like the New Day, or at least with a Biggie and stuff, because it was Biggie and Cody we found out who told Brody's son about his passing, along with Amanda, obviously. And there was a tribute during the show. The New Day came out in Brody tribute gear, which was really fucking sweet. Beautiful styling on the gear, the red and white kind of silver or gold, can't remember which. And then the Brody picture on the back. It was just beautiful. R.I.P. Brody. R.I.P. Luke Harper. We all miss you. So, following this up, we had Bad Bunny performing, which was, well, if you understood Spanish, it might have been quite interesting lyrics. Brooke had just kind of stood there like a waxwork model of himself, even though he did look absolutely badass in the camo gear. But what was I? Yeah, it didn't really happen. The song itself didn't really have any build. Felt very blah, very monotone. Not really that good. And yeah, just. I mean, you got tears at "Can You Dig It, Sucker," which is always good to hear, but it was a bit shit. It was a bit unnecessary, and nobody really cared. Even the fans just seemed like they were like, blah, and they are correct. Right, Women's Rumble. If one more person comes at me and tells me that's the greatest Women's Rumble that they've ever seen, I will slap the shit out of them. They are wrong, right? That was sloppy and messy and botchy and kind of horrible to watch. There was moments where people were just botching moves and like not quite seeing like they knew what the hell they were going or what they were doing, like they were actually just gone, do what you want, and they just looked lost, and it just it was kind of a shit show. It wasn't a good Rumble. It wasn't a good Women's Rumble. The first right, okay. So the earlier Rumbles were better. A lot better. Last year's was really pretty epic. The very first one we ever had was just like, we don't know who's coming, this has been brutal, blah, blah, blah. This one was just, it was just all over the show. It was, I wasn't a fan at all. We had some interesting people in there. So, We started off with number 1 being Bayley. There, she's just been champion. It's quite obvious that she wasn't going to win for the number 1 spot, not in her predicament. Made plenty of sense for her not to win from that spot. Not yet, anyways, not unless they're going to build a back up from that, but I don't think that's where they're going to start building a back up from. She did look badass, really loved the gear, she looks really cool. A lot of the wrestlers have got really short hair lately, like Ruby Riott and Mandy, and Rhea always kind of had short hair, but it looks like it's shorter, and it looks really good actually. I'm kind of really liking the short hair. Naomi was second. There was only one spot that Naomi did where it was like her Kofi kind of spots, which was alright. Like, that was a fun spot. That was a really fun spot. The spot with her and Bianca with the hair, that was kind of fun. There was some good moments, but the Women's Rumble didn't really pick up until the end. That was when they really started to kind of get some momentum going in that match. There was a lot of NXT ones. Shotzi had an amazing entrance. Shotzi came out in a tank, buried the Generation X kind of thing, which is really fucking cool. That girl's got a lot of attitude, and I really like that. Toni Storm was out as well. I'm hit and miss with Toni Storm. Don't get me wrong, she's a gorgeous girl, but her wrestling is still very diva-ish, and I'm not really into it. She's got some good moves, but not much in my opinion. Jillian Hall, right, the match, she was one of the most baddest people in that match when she showed up. Right, the music, her singing is awful. People who already, like, remember her will already probably know that. But she was, like, beating the shit out of people, and that was great. Like, that's what you should be doing in the Rumble. Beat the crap out of people, and then get them the fuck out of there. Right, that is the whole fucking point. And she was just beating people down, and that was really fucking cool. Victoria returned. There wasn't many returns in either Rumble. That was like a bit of an issue in my opinion. It's been a bit of an issue for the last few years. You don't have that many returns coming. You get about 2 or 3, if that. So it's less like, oh my god, he's coming back, he's coming back, he's coming back. You kind of just like, well, I just hope somebody turns up, really. But yeah, we got Victoria, which was kind of cool to see. She's got a bit of ring rust on her, but like she was still pretty good. A few botches here and there, but it's still nice to at least see her back. Would have been cool if she turned up with the spider. That would have been sick. Tori came back as well. Oh yeah, Victoria. Right, back to Victoria. Victoria took a really nasty, and I mean nasty bump. When she got knocked out of the ring. So when she got eliminated, she smacked her head off the floor, and she smacked it hard. And it's like, oh shit, I actually hope she's genuinely okay. Because that was really fucking concerning. That was like, oh shit, I really hope she's alright. Dakota Kai's was the same as well. Dakota Kai went out like really fucking aggressively, and he was like, oh shit. Is she dead? Is she dead? Is she dead? Hopefully not, but yeah, it was pretty fucking nasty. Oh yeah, Bayley's elimination. Right, Bayley. I don't mean Bayley getting eliminated. I mean the way that Bayley eliminated someone. I can't remember the fuck she eliminated, but she stayed underneath the rope and just helped kind of pull it down from where she was, and that was really clever. They did the same thing in the men's match. Again, I'll bring that up in a bit. Dana Brooke was in there, lasted about 5 minutes. Tori Wilson came back as well. Tori looks fucking damn good. Tori looks amazing. Tori looks better, in my opinion, now than she did when she was in, like, originally. The girl looks fucking incredible. Like, fucking incredible. And she moves a lot better than she used to, because she used to still be the pretty girl, and it was alright, but nowadays she's got some fucking fire to her, which is what she needs. Like, just, hey, I'm Barbie. She's like, no. Oh, Rhea came out as well. Rhea came out in the Harley Quinn gear, which really suited her. The makeup was a bit of a throw at first because I'm not used to seeing her in that style of makeup, but damn, that girl was fucking cool like that. Love Rhea. She's a freaking beast. and it's great. That girl generally knows that she could beat the crap out of anyone, and she tears that ring up. She was meant to be the next Charlotte. That was what they were pushing her as. But she's never really got that chance. And this match was no exception. Flair came out with Lacey Evans. Flair apparently cost Charlotte a title in the kickoff. Again, didn't watch it, so I'm just gonna believe that was the thing. They keep milking this quite a lot. This whole Flair and Lacey thing, which is just, I don't know if I class it as disrespectful in my opinion, but it is what it is. Mickie James was out. Mickie James didn't last long, if I remember rightly. Alicia Fox, right, this is quite funny. Slightly rude for them to do this during the match, but hey ho. So R-Truth came out after Alicia Fox entered, and R-Truth had the 24/7 title, and Alicia Fox pinned him for the title, which was kind of cool. I don't think she's the first female to win it, but it was still kind of cool to see that happen. The same, I mean, like, it was nice to see Alicia Fox in general. Obviously, we haven't seen her for a while, so it's still nice to see her, but I don't know if it's slightly disrespectful for that to happen during a match, especially during the Rumble. It's like a very distracting focus, and I'm not a huge fan of it. What else? Yeah, what else did we have? We had... Oh yeah, when Alicia got eliminated, not that long afterwards, Truth took the title pretty much straight back and ran off, being followed by a shitload of superstars at the same time, which was interesting. Tamina was in this as well. It was nice. There was some interesting reunions in these matches. Let's see. Ember Moon was back in it as well. Good to see Ember Moon back. I've always liked Ember. She's just brutal. She's just, yeah. It's nice to see a high flyer who can actually fly high when it comes to the women, because like a lot of them get called high flyers and they're not actually high flyers, but she actually is, and I think she's really, really impressive. Miss Bliss came out. I'm really liking Alexa as Twisted, kind of Alexa, with the whole Fiend thing, because her in-ring stuff has got better, in my opinion. She does less of the, like, gymnastics kind of focus stuff, but her, again, ferocity and just viciousness is really fucking cool. It's given her more of an edge, more of a fire, more of a, like, just energy again, and it's great to see that, because you want to see wrestlers come out and go, I'm going to kick the shit out of you. Which is what I'd rather see, rather than just, well, let's dance around a bit and hope that, no, fuck off. Beat the shit out of each other, go for it, make it like you're actually competing. Because whether or not this is actually meant to be, like, legit or not, at the end of the day, at least make it look like it is. Oh yeah! The Iconics! Right, the Iconics are together again, which is nice to see. I both loved and hated them. I liked the fact that they were kind of a bit of a giggle, but they weren't really, like, the most impressive tag team, but they did have, like, amazing chemistry together, so it was great to see the Iconics come back. But yeah, Nia Jax was out as well. Nia Jax and Shayna. Nia Jax just tossed Shayna out with no build-up, which was obviously signalling something, like an upcoming rivalry or something like that, but it was a bit, I don't know, just blah, just kind of out and done, no, like, proper build-up with that. Sick moment, by the way, though, was at Nia Jax's elimination. So Lana comes out looking, oh god, oh shit, like really fearful. And then she pulls down the top rope when Nia comes running at her and eliminates Nia. And that was just like, yes! Lana is the best! Lana number one! That was great. That was honestly great to see. Just giving Lana a bit of a push, because they tend to kind of ignore the underdogs now. Like, they've lifted Dana up a bit, but they still kind of use her a lot. They still normally do the same thing with Lana, but this was just like, yes, that was great. That was just a nice little payoff that needed to happen. And then there's a beatdown after, so Nia and Shayna beat down Lana, which was a bit shit, but like kind of expected. Natalya comes in. Natalya gets eliminated pretty much fucking straight away. Which is like, yes! You came to number 30. We were like, oh my god, they're gonna give they're just gonna let Natty win. Kind of like a given kind of thing. 30 spot, oh god. Like, they get the 30 spot and they normally just win from that. Not very often, but it tends to be a more regular occurrence. But yeah, bye fucking Natty. That was sick. Oh, and Charlotte as well. So Charlotte was in the Rumble. Again, another one of those moments of, oh shit, they're going to just have Charlotte wins. Lol. Again, bye-bye Charlotte. Gone. Fucking amazing. Like, that was great. These eliminations needed to happen and happen properly. But, so the ending was down to Rhea and Bianca. So Bianca eliminates Rhea and wins. Now, it's good that Bianca took that. Bianca should have won that. Bianca needed to win that, really, because she's just been being built up. But she shouldn't have won it as well. She's been massively pushed recently. Rhea has been being pushed for a very, very, very long time. Right? She was meant to beat Charlotte. And she did. Eventually. She didn't win the first Rumble, but she made her entrance into it, and people freaked. I remember a guy at the live show that I went to when Rhea debuted in the Rumble was going, yes, freaking out, oh my god, what the fuck, nah! Running around with this camera, just filming everything and just going mental, and the crowd sounded like they were hyped, because she's a freaking beast. And she was meant to get pushed, and pushed, and pushed, and pushed, and then she got injured, and then this, and then that. And, like, she's had a stop-start thing, which is massively affecting her. If she'd have won this, they could have raised her in the way that they wanted to raise her up. But it's like they've gone, nah, you're not the flavour of the month anymore. Let's give Bianca the shot. And it's not the worst winner. It's better than what we were probably expecting. But at the same time, Rhea needed this quite badly to get that kind of push back, because they are going to have to work twice as hard now to get that leverage on her. Because right now, she is kind of, she looks beastie during the match. She had like a very Kane thing going on with her eliminations, and there were some freaking nasty eliminations. But she needs this push badly to keep that beastie momentum going. There was quite a bit of filler as well tonight, which was a bit annoying. So there was a lot of there was quite a few panel moments where it was just like, you don't normally do this many panels during a show. Like, they weren't entirely certain how to fill the gaps, which was like, why? But there was one bit of filler that turned into a segment. So we saw R-Truth again, and he was saying, oh my god, John Cena's supposed to be here. Just for the record, John Cena did not turn up. There was no Doctor of Thugonomics, nothing. There was no Cena this year. Unless he was there, we just, couldn't see him. But anyway, so yeah, there was no Cena this year. But there was in this segment, so I can't remember his name. Oh, Pete Rosenberg, that's his name. He so I went, oh yeah, Cena's over there, can't you see him? And then he goes after he goes towards him, and he low blows him, pins him, 24/7 champion. That's going to be interesting to see what they do with that, but I would imagine Archer's going to pin him on his radio show and take it back. Kind of a given, but a fun little spot anyway. Oh, yes, right. Okay, I forgot about that. So Rhea eliminated, what's she called? Rhea eliminated Bliss. Now, that, just as she was about to, like, summon the Fiend and go Uber Bliss, which could be very, very interesting, because theoretically, this could mean that they are setting up for Orton and Rhea to go against the Fiend and Bliss. Also, one slight disappointment, there was no Fiend moment during the Rumble match, which was, everyone expected it, I think we're hoping for it, but it never really happened, which was a bit going, but it is what it is. Also, Becky teased that she might be coming back as well, saying that she just posted a picture of a curtain and was being, a dick. Well played, Becky, but there was a return from the Lynch Rollins household, which will be talked about in a moment. Oh, that's another thing. Bianca is also the first black woman to win the Royal Rumble. Cool. The Women's Rumble, which is awesome. So the next match was Reigns versus Owens, and I haven't seen any of Roman in this current, like, head of the table thing. I am fucking impressed. I am well impressed. I was so happy. I was just like, oh my god. The big dog found his bark as well as his bite. He fucking needed it. Because he has come out, right, and he has been fucking shite, right? He was amazing. He was amazing with the Shield, right? He was the strong, silent guy who would beat the shit out of you just by looking at you. And then they tried to make him have a voice, and they fucked that voice up. And then they tried to shove him down your throat and go, you must love him now! We don't love you, right? We don't love you because of how they've done this to you, and what they've done to you, and how they've made you look. But this is great, right? The guy is finally talking, and talking well. Right? I don't know if he's been giving lessons or what, but holy fucking shit. What happened? This is backlash, because I haven't been watching since then, and holy crap, dude. This is what Reigns needed. Reigns is badass again, and he should be. And I'm so glad they finally got rid of the bulletproof vest. Right, it was great in the Shield, it was fine in the Shield, it was part of the look for the Shield, it was all expected for that, and when they did the Shield reunion and blah blah blah, keep it there, right? But when they went to Reigns being just completely fucking solo and nothing to do with the Shield and being his own guy, it should have gone ages ago. Like, it's protective gear, right? You don't see all the others doing that, and him still wearing that made him like, haha, you cannot touch me. I have my, shield on, I have my this on. It's like, why are you the only person wearing protective gear like that? It doesn't make you look strong anymore. It doesn't make you look like you're part of a faction. It makes you look like you're reminiscing the past and just kind of wearing it now for a actual protective gear kind of thing, and it's just not necessary. So him now fighting topless, and you can see the full fucking Samoan tattoo on show and all kind of lot, looks bad fucking ass, and hearing him talk like he's just gonna fucking send like a hitman after you, just like, yes, be brutal, be nasty, be fucking Reigns, be the Reigns that we saw, not just the big dog, but be Roman Reigns. The badass member of the Shield who was going to kick your fucking ass. It was amazing, and it's great to see him, like, have a character. So there was a lot of tables in this match. Many tables for harm for the making of this pay-per-view. There was a lot of table spots in this match, which was okay, really, and also not okay. So there was one too many for a last man standing. Like, it was pretty much primarily focused on table spots, which was okay, but not the best. It's a little overloaded with it. Yeah, so some of the table spots were fucking brutal. Especially because, yet again, tables, they like to, sometimes it's a case of it'll be alright on the night. Sometimes the tables just do not cooperate. Oh yeah, I'm the table. We all know the famous classic line from Botchamania. So, yeah, there was a couple of table spots that went wrong. Like, Reigns didn't go through one. We had one where... Yeah, okay, so before that, right, before I talk about the second table spot, they were walking through the crowd, and it was a fucking weird visual. Like, it was bizarre. Because it was like watching them just walk through a bunch of screens, which technically they are. And I get they're supposed to be walking through the crowd and still trying to recreate that element, but it looked fucking weird. It looked really fucking weird. It just did not look right. I get it, but just no. Just please don't do that again. Not with the Thunderdome stuff. It just doesn't look right. Second spot was obviously him throwing him from the like middle of the crowd, and that bump looked. Oh my god! It looked painful. It looked legitimately painful because he kind of went down in the middle, and it broke. But it was almost like he went through a table that wasn't designed to break. The way it kind of went in and imploded, it looked fucking painful. Like, really fucking painful. They went backstage. Backstage looks fucking better than fucking front stage. Backstage looks sick. Huge fucking backstage area with a ring in the middle of it. That looked really fucking cool. Really fucking cool. Something that they could really use, and they were used alright on this. They could have explored it a bit better than they did. They kind of stuck to, like, just behind the, like, entrance to the backstage area. So they were in the backstage area, but they were, like, just in the backstage area. Like, that backstage area was huge. You could see trucks. You had a fucking ring in the middle of it. It was obviously like it was possibly a training ground. But then Reigns comes through on a fucking golf cart. The man stole Kerwin White's golf cart. Mean. That is mean. But yeah, so yeah, that actually looked really fucking evil because Reigns looked like he was going at full fucking speed, and there's people saying that Owens didn't sell it very well. I think Owens sold it really well, like really, really well. Table, there's another announce table there, and the announce table did not go through. Shocking. So he gets powerbombed through it. So Reigns gets powerbombed through it by Kevin Owens, which is it's always a fun spot, a good spot. That was when he didn't go through, and then he did his senton onto him, and then broke it like that. Honestly, Owens just throws his weight around to finish off those tables. It's just like, I'll start off by smacking you with the powerbomb, and if that fails, then I'm just gonna use another finisher. Fuck it. Miss one, the other one will come along. There was a really awesome spot that he did as well onto another table. It was like a decorating table, weirdly, because it had like a dust sheet on it that looked like it had paint on it. And Owens went to top of the forklift and jumped off there. Now I love the Daredevil nature of Owens, because Owens just seems to just go fuck it, and I'm hoping that this year he'll finally get a chance. So the pirate theme is still around for the next WrestleMania, and Owens is going to I'm hoping that Owens is going to be there, and he's going to be able to do the spot that he originally wanted to do on Rollins. So if you remember him doing the jump from the sign, where he jumped onto Rollins onto the table, that was not originally meant to be that. Obviously they had to change it because everything kind of just got changed last minute. But what he originally wanted to do was, at the Buccaneer Stadium, there is a full-size pirate ship. Owens wanted to climb to the top of that and jump onto Rollins from there. What a fucking spot that would have been. Like, Owens kind of has the daredevil, like, kind of style of Jeff Hardy with the, like, nature of a brawler, and it's really kind of an interesting mix. So, the other thing with this match was that they had it as, like, Reigns uses his family and he fights for them. It was a bit of a weird kind of tagline for it, but especially with the whole thing of, like, when they're running the BTs of, like, his daughter and stuff like that. But the story played out quite well, because they did show Kevin to be, like, a real, like, fighter in this. There was a moment, though, where that almost got ruined and became a bit of a botch in itself. So there was a bit where, towards the end, Owens handcuffed Reigns to one of the, like, metal, like, frames. I need my legs to get bored. And that was, he nearly got counted out on it. No, he didn't get counted out because he just went, "Get fucked, ref," and just slammed the ref into the bloody support beam, which was quite aggressive and a nice little moment, really, to kind of signify Reigns as being a "fuck this" kind of guy, which was fine. But the issue was that we that bit went on for way too long. It would have been a cheap finish for Owens that he didn't just fight till the end and just try to find an easy way out, which would have been kind of horrible to see. And then we had the other issue of Reigns being kind of stuck there for quite a while. So Heyman came out with a lockpick, which wasn't working. The ref actually stopped counting because the bloody lockpick would not open the handcuffs. That dragged on for like 5 minutes, and for a match that was just kind of like ongoing and managed to maintain the energy really, really fucking well, that broke it up a lot. Right at the end. Would have been a cheap finish for Owens and was just kind of nasty. It just killed the moment. It just killed the movement of it, and I understand it to a certain extent, but it was winning by whatever means necessary, yes, but for it to be like a cheap finish like that doesn't make Owens appear as a fighter. It makes him appear like he's just going to try and get out of it, which makes him look more like a coward, which is more like a heel thing to do. Not a big fan of that moment at all. So the lockpick won the match, really. The lockpick won. The lockpick was the last man standing. Reigns managed to get up. He finally got out of the handcuffs. And it's just choked out Owens in the end, which worked. And you can see Owens fighting to get back up, and then just about. It was just a very anticlimactic finish for a match that was very, like, intense. And that was kind of, it was just kind of a disappointing ending. But there was a lot of, like, spots and moments that you could pick out that match that did make it quite impressive. And this is definitely, like, more the kind of thing that you want to see the direction of Reigns being. So I can personally now finally get behind Reigns. So next we have the Royal Rumble match. Okay, so I realised this was for sound panel stuff and will not know it because of the fact that my fucking microphone has been muted for this entire fucking time. You're about to find out if I did. Here we go again. Right. Unbelievable. Right, so, I'm fucking gutted now. Right, back to the beginning of the Rumble. This is fucking long-term storytelling at its fucking best. Right, this match has been amazing. Right, this match was fucking beautiful. So we started off with Orton and Edge in the number 1 spot. Edge being in the number 1 spot, obviously we were a bit concerned because we were like, oh my god, is he actually going to win this? Is this going to be a thing? So Edge and Orton ended up kind of like battling it out and going to the edge when they entered the like outside of the ring. Actually, going back to that, okay, so long-term storytelling at its best, right? This is what WWE can do when they really, really care and actually go to build a story the way that it should be. And it can be fucking amazing. It's just, they don't really focus on it enough for enough wrestlers. But yeah, so Orton and Edge goes to the outside. When Orton and Edge goes to the outside, when Orton and Edge goes to the outside, they end up battling it out, and Orton ends up getting put, he wasn't put through the table, but he was injured on the table by Edge. This was obviously the continuation of their WrestleMania story, which was a fucking amazing battle. I fucking loved it when there was no crowds for the promos. The promos just sounded so much more intense and so much better. You could actually hear every word, because the problem with having like fans talking during matches, during promos and stuff, is that sometimes the crowd ends up overtaking the promos. And because the crowd ends up overtaking the promos, it almost destroys the intensity of those promos and makes it almost so that the wrestlers' performances don't matter anymore. Or make it seem like that. And that is just seriously wrong. It's almost disrespectful. But yeah, Orton gets taken to the back. Now, this is something that we end up not realising, is that the fact that, you don't really kind of pay much attention to the fact that he hasn't actually been eliminated at this point. Orton is still in the Rumble, technically. So we think that, so obviously he's gone to the back, Doctor check him over. We don't see him again until the finale, which I will get to. Something that I did try and mention before when it was muted was the fact that one thing that I found out was about the fact that the WWE Chronicle was streamed before the Rumble was Bianca Belair's, and Bianca Belair's being just before the Rumble is a bit cheeky, really. So that little moment happens, then we get Mustafa Ali come out. Mustafa Ali gets quite a long show, to be fair. He doesn't get to do as much fluffy shit as he used to, which is a bit disappointing, especially for a Rumble. But it is what it is. But at least he got like a bit of a stretch, which is better than just being in for 5 minutes and thrown out. Shinsuke coming back with his original theme, which is fucking great. I do really like the band one, but it just, I don't know, it just takes away something from Shinsuke's entrance. I do love the fiddler as well. Getting to see the fiddler come out of the entrance with him is just really fucking cool and something very, very different. So I'm hoping that will now come back now that this is, now that his original theme is back. We had a few returns, not many. That's one thing that, like, both of these had. The returns haven't been that much. It's like they almost treat it like the legends can't hang with the newer guys. And I think that the legends returns need a little bit longer just to show you that, hey, they can hang with these guys, but they're just, you know, not ready to get this spot. But they're not, like, crap or anything like that. It just, I don't know, there's something just kind of disrespectful about having to come in for like 2 minutes and then being gone, or 30 seconds and then being gone. Unless they're like a joke wrestler, then them being eliminated straight away is just kind of like continuing the running joke, which is fine. So like Ellsworth coming back, him getting like eliminated almost immediately would be expected. But it wouldn't be the same with people like Carlito, who was eliminated extremely quickly, which is a real shame because Elias came out and basically just chucked him straight out after like 5 minutes. Carlito looks amazing, by the way. Carlito looks fucking really, really good. He can obviously still perform incredibly well, and it was great to see him, you know, back at all. He was meant to be back for the Legends show, didn't manage to make it, and it was good to see him just return at all. Xavier Woods and Biggie were also part of this Rumble. Biggie really fucking did some great work in this Rumble. Like, you forget just how much of a powerhouse the guy is. Like, he's really, really fucking talented and really, really fucking good. Like, the guy's hilarious, right? He's super fucking funny. Like, if you've watched Up, Up, Down, Down, or you've watched, like, just WWE in general, like his stuff on the New Day, you can see that the guy's comic timing is fucking beautiful. Like, it's perfect. It's spot on. Like, Up, Down, Down was like, don't follow me, follow this fish. Like, his comic timing is great. But you don't really see much of him being just badass, and we really got to really see him like flex that, and what he did worked incredibly well. Morrison and Kofi were both in the. Morrison and Kofi were both supposed to be in this match. Now they were in last year's, but we missed out on their spots because of the fact that Lesnar did the whole like dominance thing until Drew came out. And it made sense for them to play it the way they played it, but we did miss out on those whole, like, spots where they're, like, trying to get back in the ring and stuff like that. Now, Naomi follows it for the women's, and then, like, Morrison was the originator of this kind of thing, and then you had Kofi following it up, and so to have them both in the same match would have been really cool to watch those two, like, play it out. So it's a real fucking shame that, like, again, unfortunately this year Kofi was injured. And I'm hoping that Morrison sticks around long enough for this to be something that can happen next year. Ricochet was in it, didn't last that long, about 5 minutes. They don't let him get off the moves that he can really do. Like, that guy's like a fucking ninja if you've ever watched his stuff with Will Ospreay. So it's a shame that they don't really let him show what he can really do within a Rumble match. They did the same last year, obviously, but again, it was part of the whole Lesnar just throwing people out. So Ricochet hasn't really had his chance to shine in a Rumble match properly yet, and I'm hoping that one day they will actually let him do that. Damien Priest. Now, I have not seen Damien Priest before. I don't really watch NXT. It's hard to keep up with the wrestling as it is. But Damien Priest did a hell of a showing during this. Like, a hell of a showing during this. They made him look incredibly dominant. He was really fucking good in this. Really fucking good in this. And it's just, yeah, that the guy got a hell of a push during this match. And I'm now intrigued to see where the hell he goes with it. Hopefully they'll keep on, like, maintaining this. Because they gave him, like, the kind of Kane eliminations thing going on. And it was just like, ooh. This could really fucking go somewhere. Like, keep this on it. Oh, he did get a double elimination on Miz and Morrison, which was not expected. So unfortunately, we didn't get even any moments of Morrison, like, trying to get back in the ring and stuff like that, which was a shame. But the worst part about this elimination was Bad Bunny, because when Miz came out beating the shit out of the fucking music equipment and stuff like that, he came out and distracted Miz and Morrison, which is why Damien managed to get the double elimination on them. So as cool as that double elimination looked, I understand that they do the whole celebrity thing with Miz and him, like, interacting with them and stuff like that. He's kind of like the go-between for that kind of stuff. And, you know, Hollywood A-lister, blah, 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 makes sense. But it's just a bit shit that they don't really, that they let that be at the cost of a match when it was just something that was kind of thrown together. So I'm not a fan of that, being the reason why. Matt Riddle came out as well. Really, like, the guy needs to be fucking, how he wrestles in bare feet is kind of shocking. Like, I would be so fucking worried about either stepping on some shit or fucking, like, having one of them, like, stand on my foot. Like, especially in a Rumble, Jesus. Protect those toes. And then, yeah, he kind of almost went a bit too full MMA, because when he got to Shinsuke in the corner, like, he got him in a proper fucking hold, and it was like, oh shit. Please don't actually do that. Like, I'm not a fan of submissions in Rumble matches anyway, because submissions in Rumble matches are, like, it's just pointless, because it kind of makes you a sitting duck. Like, I understand it weakening someone, but it's kind of useless. Daniel Bryan come out. Daniel Bryan didn't last as long as I was hoping, and his elimination wasn't exactly the best. And we also had Kane come out. Now, Kane got eliminated very quickly, which again, Shane, legend, coming in, blah, 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 take it straight out. Crap. But we did get a really beautiful moment. We got Team Hell No doing their hugs. And, like, okay, so it ended with them doing a choke slam to him straight afterwards. But, okay, it was still brilliant to see. It's a nice little callback. There's been some really cool reunions in this. Like we had the bar later on, so we had Sheamus come in and Sheamus and Cesaro having a thing. Although they didn't really play on it that much, which was a bit disappointing. Like doing "We Are the Bar" thing, but they did. But they had Cesaro put me straight into a swing and go every man for himself, which was funny. But yeah, I mean, like it was kind of disappointing that they didn't really play on that a little more. We also had Corbin in this match. Corbin served very interesting purposes. I fucking hate the King Corbin thing. I think this whole thing of being up his own arse has gone on for way too long. I think the gimmick has like overstayed its welcome. I think it was fine for a little while, but I think they've gone on and on for way too long. So I think he was such a badass when he first came into it, just tearing shit up as a lone wolf. And he had a much better character at the time, so it would be like preferable to finally see him like end that and go into like something like kind of in between the whole lone wolf thing and just like kind of standard Baron. But yeah, the King Corbin thing is just it's done. It's a gimmick that just has gone on for far too long. So his things were he eliminated Otis, which is shit, because Otis, right, that poor fucking guy, right, his tag team got broke up, his missus got fucking split with him, right, on the roster, he lost his Money in the Bank briefcase 2 minutes in a random match, and he came into this Rumble for like 30 seconds and then just got thrown out of it, like he was just some fucking gimmick. Otis is good, right? And he's great with the crowd, and he's just... Why build him up as an underdog just to keep fucking throwing him away? Like, he may not look like a classic kind of definition of a wrestler, but damn, the guy is fucking good. He's fun, and honestly, if they keep treating him this way, he'd be better on fucking AEW because they probably treat him better. The guy needs to just fuck this shit off. And just, that WWE needs to book him better. Like, it needs to be one of those two things. Because justice for Otis. But technically, we did get justice for Otis. Because Corbin ended up getting eliminated by Dominic Mysterio. Because Dominic Mysterio was in this match. I don't know if I touched on it. I did touch on it the first time that I talked about it as well. Before I go onto Dominic. Hurricane was in this match, but they threw him out in like 30 seconds, and it was just a waste. Like, Helms can obviously still wrestle, so for him to just get kind of chucked out was just kind of shit. And almost a waste, because him and Rosie were sick together, and he was a great wrestler back in the day, and Helms can still wrestle now, so fuck you, WWE, for doing that. That was a bit shit. But yeah, Dominic ended up pulling the rope down when Corbin ended up running at him, and Dominic got the last laugh on Corbin, which was nice to see. It's just a shame that they eliminated Dominic before Rey came in, because Rey Mysterio was also in this match. But Rey and Dominic could have had like some really cool moments together, either trying to eliminate each other or teaming to eliminate other people, and they could have extended on that and played on that quite a bit, especially with it being the first Rumble that they're in together. So it's a bit of a wasted opportunity. Back to the whole Lashley and Biggie thing. Lashley and Biggie had some fucking amazing moments, and they really need to follow through on that, because that could be a hell of a match. Either just make it a kickoff thing or something like that. Personally, this match is potentially championship quality. The chemistry they had in the ring was fucking brilliant. And they could really go somewhere with this. So I really want to see them, like,
It's WWE, so it's very, very unlikely that they actually will bother, but I'm hoping that they are actually setting that up, and Lashley versus Biggie will be a thing that actually ends up happening. Because that looks like it could be, or would be, or will be, a hell of a match. And then we also had Christian about 3/4 of the way throughout the match. His entrance was pretty cool because he helped to eliminate, I think he helped to eliminate Lashley by pulling onto the rope before he even stepped in. Hugged Edge, and again, long-term storytelling, right? When he first came back briefly during Edge's fucking run, when he first came back during Edge's like initial return run, he was like, "Oh, I don't know if you can beat Orton, and if you should be doing this, and think about your misses and blah blah blah," and having him like have a bit of space and then come back and then have the big moment between them and blah 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 was just perfect. I think if they'd have brought him back too soon, it wouldn't have worked anywhere near as well. Again, this Edge's story has been told so fucking perfectly, and that is the beauty of long-term planning. Biggie went out relatively, not quickly, but not in a very anticlimactic way. It wasn't like a big thing or anything like that. It was just kind of put out, and that was like really disappointing as well. Biggie could have had like a bigger moment, more of a major moment to put him out, or like had like more people just trying to like throw him out. It could have been a bit more beastie with how they used him in the Rumble for like eliminations and stuff, but it was just a bit of an anticlimactic ending for him. But I do like how they showcase Biggie in this match, even if that is like not the best presentation, not the best finale for him in that particular Rumble. AJ came in as well. So AJ, I am not liking this whole bodyguard thing. Like, I get it, it's the heel thing and the coward thing, and having like, it's like the J&J security for Owens and stuff, and I do understand it. And it does create like major heel heat and yada yada. But it makes AJ look weak with the over dependence on him. Like using him in the Rumble for like a lot of elimination. Like I think there's like 2 or 3 eliminations done via I can't remember his name, but the new bodyguard guy, and it's like I don't like this. It makes AJ look weak, and I don't think that's good for him. He's only just really building himself back up after the Undertaker thing, which he didn't really play on that as much as I was hoping for after WrestleMania. But yeah, like, I can only hope that they're going to go somewhere with this or end it relatively soon so we can get AJ back to being, like, more his own man. One other return we did have, now Becky did tease that she might be back for the Women's Rumble, but she wasn't. But the Messiah has returned. Rollins is back, overselling in the classic Shawn Michaels way that I fucking find hysterical. Right? Rollins can act and wrestle incredibly well, but it is more like ever since the break of the Shield, for whatever reason, he oversells things like mad in the same way that Shawn Michaels oversold the Hulk Hogan at SummerSlam, and oh my god, it's fucking funny. But it's also great to see Rollins back because Rollins can wrestle incredibly well. And that, so we got down to the final 4. The final 4 were Rollins, Braun, Braun came out at 30, everyone was disappointed. Edge and Christian. Now, the future and the present, the future and the past, I love it when they mess about with stuff like that. It's always great to see. Rollins did try and team with Braun, didn't work. Edge and Christian are Edge and Christian. Like, they're just brothers at this point. They're not even fucking just friends at this point. Oh, yeah, I've got that. Matt Riddle eliminated Daniel Bryan. It wasn't ceremonious and it wasn't great. But, yeah, so you were kind of just watching the final 4 take each other out, blah, blah, blah. And came down to Edge in the ring and you were like, shit, Edge has won, holy fuck. And then out came Orton. And you're like, shit, no, fucking RKO'd Edge. And you're like, shit, what? No, what? And it was just great because you weren't expecting it. You had been so caught up and they had saved it for the perfect moment because you were so caught up. You'd have the energy there. You were like, yes, Edge just fucking won for the #1 spot. And then Orton came out and did that and you were like, no, what the fuck? They did the injury so well to the point where it led to this. Now, I understand the Fiend not being in it if they were trying to play, like, put more focus on this. It's just a bit crap that the Fiend didn't get a moment in this or wasn't in this match. That does have to be said. But, oh, that was so good that they did that because, like, you've literally completely forgotten about it. You were so caught up in everything else that you completely forgot that Orton was off injured and you weren't expecting him to come back. Not that soon. And Orton got eliminated. And then, yes, Edge won from the #1 spot. And he is going to Mania. And it was fucking beautiful. They did this so fucking well. So fucking well. The build-ups, the rivalries, the promos, the fucking fight back from the back injury, from the retirement, to this, to this, to this. This is what long-term storytelling does and long-term planning does for all of your wrestlers, not just one. If you could make that a thing back with the wrestlers, then yes, it pays off. I have said this before in other fucking videos. Not knowing what the main event is going to be is not necessarily a bad thing. Build it up to the point where we care so fucking much. Make me care about fucking Edge being the winner. You built it up so much to the point where, yes, you were just so happy to see him back, and now you're just like, oh my god, yes. You build it and build it and build it and build it and build it with little bits here and there, and you create a story. And that is what wrestling is. Wrestling is storytelling. It is a pantomime. It is a fucking action show. It is a drama. It is a fucking important thing to make that your fucking stories matter. Edge and just storytelling is the main focus of wrestling, right? The wrestling is still massively important. You've got to have those moments. You've got to have those spots. You've got to have that stuff. But the stories are what matter to make you care about those matches in the first place. It is what separates wrestling from just any other type of media. It is what separates wrestling from all of that. The stories are what make wrestling important. It's what makes you care. It's what makes you cry when somebody wins a match. Build it up. Do what you did with Kofi. That made you fucking care. Make it so we give a shit. Because that is what makes us love wrestling. The matches are important, but the emotional impact of those matches are what make them memorable. And that is why wrestling stories matter. You can have the odd throwaway thing here and there, but you have to get your storytelling with the character development down right. Or else it's just another match, another story, another fucking thing. Yes, but yeah, it's definitely worth watching. But yeah, that's the great thing about a Rumble. I'm coming back to this. I'm glad I came back to this. Because they've integrated some of the stories that happen on Raw and SmackDown. But they've more continued what's been happening through the pay-per-view, which is good, but they need to integrate more stuff that happens on Raw and SmackDown. Also, Raw and SmackDown becomes just superstars, and then your main shows are just going to be in the pay-per-views. But let's run back through the card and give you what my opinion was. let's give it an out of 10 thing. Drew versus Goldberg. Impressive for what it was. Could have been a bit higher. Let's give that a 7 out of 10. Purely because it wasn't like 5-star kind of quality match, but it was perfect for what it was meant to be. Oh, I completely forgot to mention that. Right, Nikki's theme. What the fuck is that? I miss good wrestling themes. Get me back Nikki's fucking classic theme, or get me a better, more metal-y kind of theme for her, because that new theme is shocking. Women's Royal Rumble. 6 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Just because of who the winners are. The Rumble itself was messy and sloppy, and the returns didn't last long enough, and there weren't that many. So I would give that, I'll give that a 7 out of 10. Owens versus Reigns. It's really hard to get this one a fucking number, because we had some great spots. It was so much better for Reigns. That ending let it down a lot, though. Let's call that a 7 as well. No, let's give that an 8. Let's give that an 8. It deserves more than that. Let's give that an 8. The men's Rumble's got to be a 9. Like, the storytelling paid off amazingly well. The legends were kind of wasted, though. Then there was some kind of botchy eliminations. I still gotta do these out of 10 things. I'll start working them out, but yeah, let's call it a 9 for now. But yeah, but it's not all the emotions that were necessary, so yeah, like, it was good. So the Rumble, all in all, was pretty fucking cool. We've got some people being built up, we've got some stuff being set up, not as much as I was hoping, and we've got to be working on long-time storytelling again, which is great. Could do the legend staying in a bit longer, but other than that, So congratulations to Bianca. I would have preferred it to be a ringer. And congratulations to Edge, my boy Wood. So happy. But yeah, congratulations to you guys. Well done to everybody else. Great night. And I'm going to sign off there. I might do this a bit more often, or I might try and do more live reactions, because I much prefer doing live reactions and then this, like, to wrap up. But I need to work out how to do it where I can listen to it and not have the sound come to you guys. I will work that out when I can. Yeah, to anyone who tuned in, thank you very much. I will try and maybe be here for the next pay-per-view on me for Raw tomorrow. We'll see. Until then, though, I shall see you down the road.